Shalom, Kal Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kal Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them, who taught us His truth. And Shabbat Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing word and truth and in sincerity. The hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the World War III Daily Update. Shabbat Shalom and salutations to all of you. All right, so I'm going to make this quick. Start right here. Yeah, we're in the Berean, real quick. Joel 3, start here at 9. Proclaim ye this, Salah. Proclaim this among the nations. Prepare for war. Rouse up the mighty men. Let all the men of war advance and attack. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Remember when the Iron Curtain fell back in the 90s, right? And the Soviet Union split up, right? Well, Vlad is turning the tide, okay? He's doing what he can to bring that thing back together. Right, so this is Wyon. I believe that I has something to do with India, because she's an Indian, I believe. All that's missing is a little dot right there. Anyway, Europe. All right, is this today or yesterday? Slovakia, bear with me. Today's the 27th, okay. So this is today. Gas prices surged by 30% in 2 days. Guess what? We are at war. This is warfare. There was a video I made yesterday called Gas Wars. Well, this is a continuation, this time in the World War III Daily Update. Hey, you have to have energy to wage war. You got to have oil, you got to have gas, you got to have natural gas, you got to have jet fuel, right? You got to have ammunition, you got to have weapons, tanks, okay? You have to have follow-on echelon, you have to have supply chain, food, all right? Food, you got to feed them troops. It's got to be coming. There can't be a stop in the chain, or else your whole apparatus falls apart. Well, before the shooting starts, what are they doing? Well, we're going to reduce your gas. Well, we're going to hide the food. We're not exporting any food. What you see is the war has already started. Zelensky accuses Russia of imposing price terror. Wait a minute. We're at war. Price terror? What are you talking about? It's funny. Very funny. Okay, let's watch this. It's short. All right.
The war in Ukraine.
And this is Slovakia. This is Russia saying I'm strong. Russia's weak, as we'll show in this next little clip. Russia's the weak one, standing up, saying I'm strong. Look, I got more nukes. Yeah, you got countries, you got size, you got numbers. So Vlad is the weak, saying he's strong. Now, the first 2 things she's going to mention is energy and food. Listen.
The war in Ukraine has led to an energy and food crisis around.
Boom. You got to have those things to fight a war.
The war in Ukraine has led to an energy and food crisis around the world. The crisis has been especially harsh on Europe, where gas prices have surged by nearly 30% in 2 days.
Okay, let's analyze one more time on that. She said around the world. Energy and food around, not just in Western Europe, not just in Western Europe. She said around the world. What does WW3 mean? world war. Okay? So when you examine all the food processing plants being blown up, and you immediately say, well, we're doing that to ourselves. There might be some truth in that. There might be some truth in, hey, we're at war. We got to cut off your food. We got to cut off your oil. Why is Let's Go Brandon running to the Saudis and begging for oil when the United States has the biggest oil reserves? One word, ibatiyat, debt. You got to give up that oil because you owe these debts. If you don't give up that oil, why did Japan attack Pearl Harbor? Oil. Hey, we're at war. All right, one more time from the top. Listen close.
The war in Ukraine has led to an energy and food crisis around the world. The crisis has been especially harsh on Europe, where gas prices have surged by nearly 30% in 2 days. This comes after Russia deepened supply cuts to the continent. The Russian state-backed energy giant Gazprom said that it would limit the flows through Nord Stream 1 to about 20% of its full capacity from today.
That is significant. 30% in just 2 days. What's the percentage going to be in 5 days? Hey, we're at war, people. And Vlad is doing what what he can do. All right, they done surrounded him. He's like, shut the gas down. I'm going to give you just enough. It ain't even cold yet. Right? We're in the middle of the summer. All right? Let not your flight be in the winter.
This, along with the EU's new deal to reduce gas consumption by 15% over the winter months, has caused the latest spike in prices. The EU said that it is important to start managing gas while keeping the requirements of member nations in check. Meanwhile, Hungary slammed the EU proposal to reduce gas consumption, saying that the reduction was quote-unquote unenforceable. Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó said that the new proposal is harmful for the country. Hungary was the only member state to oppose the proposal that passed with a majority vote. The foreign minister added that the new plan completely ignored the needs of Hungarian people. This comes after the government recently declared an energy emergency in response to supply disruptions and rising energy prices. Some businesses in Hungary will no longer receive energy at the government-protected price from August 1st. Amid all this, MPs in the UK have warned that millions of people in the country will be plunged into unimaginable debt, adding that the government should come up with ways to support citizens who are struggling to pay rising energy bills.
Okay, so they're going to be forced to decide whether to eat or to stay warm. And those two things are significant, right? What do you call it? Just being able to live. What do you call it? It's escaping me right now. Ease of living. Anyway, let's finish.
The Business and Energy Select Committee said that the 40-year
quality of life
inflation rate of 9.4% has made matters extremely difficult for citizens. While Europe struggles to cope with these energy issues, the Kremlin said that former German Chancellor Gerhard Schröder is in Moscow.
What is this? Hungary. Hungary. This is the Franz Ferdinand moment. You know who is Franz Ferdinand? Well, it's a band out of England.
Adding that they could possibly make contact with him. However, Schröder's motive for the visit is unclear. Amid all this, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Russia was deliberately cutting supplies of natural gas to impose a price terror against Europe.
Duh, we're at war.
He also called for more sanctions against Moscow.
Зокрема, сьогоднішні повідомлення про чергове
Sanctions is what got you into this mess in the first place.
Зростання газових цін на європейській біржі вище $2000 за 1000 кубів. Це вже достатній привід, щоб розширити санкції проти Росії. Оскільки для всіх зрозуміло, що це свідомий ціновий терор Росії проти Європи. Використовуючи «Газпром», Москва робить все, щоб ця зима стала для європейських країн найбільш жорсткою. На терор потрібно відповідати санкціям.
Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin said that Moscow will have to diversify their energy resources by focusing on Asia, adding that they will need to develop transport infrastructure for this purpose as the war and sanctions drag on. Europe is now looking at a difficult winter ahead.
Difficult to say the least. Okay, good enough. All right, so hey, this is completely significant. See, this is the Franz Ferdinand moment. Who is Franz Ferdinand and what does that mean? Okay, well, Franz Ferdinand, let's look at this. Gas prices surged by 30% in 2 days. This is the Franz Ferdinand moment. Okay, so let's look into that. I want to look it up here before we go to Wikipedia. Are you gonna let me go to Wikipedia? Come on, devil. I know you hear every word I'm saying. This is terrible. Okay, let me see. How can we go around it? Come on. Come on. Here we go. Let me try this real quick. Come on, give it to me. Wow. I wanted to go for the band first. It's not letting me. Let's see. Band. Look at this bullshit. Slocky, bear with me. Let's get this. Franz Ferdinand, right? Look at it. Let's take a quick look. I know I'm off kilter here, but bear with me. You should know who Franz Ferdinand is going into World War III. All right? Is it a band from England? They're playing in Oakland next week.
So if you're lonely, you know I'm here waiting for you. I'm just a crosshair. I'm just a shot away from you.
Now, the reason I did that was to etch it in your mind who Franz Ferdinand is. All right? Oh, this dude said it was a band. This dude. Franz Ferdinand. Let's get it. Let's just search it. See, they want to obscure the truth with this band. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. Let's see. Let's just read this. Archduke Franz Ferdinand Karl Ludwig Joseph Maria of Austria was the heir presumptive to the throne of Austria-Hungary. His assassination in Sarajevo was the most immediate cause of World War I. So when we say that this is a Franz Ferdinand moment, right? What does that mean? It means this is the most immediate cause in the European Union having to strike Vlad. And Going back to what? Why did Japan attack Pearl Harbor? First thing,
country, and so in order to secure long-term security,
what's the first thing they say? Why did
list of historic
Japan attack? The theme here?
on a list of historically bad ideas, Japan's decision to bomb Pearl Harbor always gets an honourable mention. Given that for Japan the outcome was not exactly a positive one, it's natural to ask what its leaders hoped to achieve. So why? Why did Japan bomb Pearl Harbor?
Why did Japan bomb Pearl Harbor? This is World War II.
So before talking about the attack itself, it's important to look at what the Japanese government's long-term plans were for the country. Japan is not a resource-rich country, and so in order to secure
Resources? What do we see?
So in order to secure long-term security in terms of things like oil and food,
Oil and food, energy and food. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. Why? Energy and food. Vlad just cut off the natural gas, the Nord Stream, and energy went up by 30%. How long will it take for the European Union to attack Russia? You see how this works? Now, where is it going? Now we go to Johnny Storm. All right. War Report, this is 2 days ago. I already went over this, but we got to go back to it. War Report, NATO tank on the move. China warns USA over Pelosi visit. Russia threatens Germany. Okay, so let's listen to this because this is huge. Listen to the language, all right?
Also,
Also,
Al Turner's covert intel reporting, former German Chancellor Gerhard Schroeder was seen in a luxury hotel in Moscow, would have been yesterday. He was asked if he was in town to see President Putin, and Schroeder did not answer. He then asked why he was in Moscow, and he said it's a beautiful city. Well, it might be. I'm sure it is. But at the same time, I don't think that's why Mr. Schroeder was there. In fact, he was there to meet with Putin, according to House sources. And he was told in no uncertain terms that Germany and Europe would freeze this winter if sanctions aren't lifted.
Franz Ferdinand. Listen.
And that they're only going to give them enough gas for now, just to maintain daily functions. And that's it. They won't allow them to build up any supplies for the winter. And basically Putin said, hey, look, you need us much more than we need you at this point. And we can do much more harm to you economically versus the other way around.
Now listen to this. Listen close is what the Elder Apostle Gabar said.
We're already seeing play out in real life, right? I mean, everyone is being harmed much greater by the sanctions against Russia, including the United States.
Listen to this.
So, bottom line is, Putin said back off with these sanctions and with what you're doing in Ukraine or else. And then Schroeder also said, listen close. Schroeder's going to say something, and then Vlad is going to have the final say. Listen close. You can't win a war with all of NATO. And Putin, I guess, responded and said, no, maybe not, but we can bring NATO down with us, meaning nuclear war, of course. Let's listen to that again. Vlad had the last word. Why? Because the weak is now strong. Let the weak say I'm strong. We'll go back and get that on the way out. This is very significant, okay? We should listen to this whole thing again, okay? Because this is directly dealing with the gas situation, the standoff. Gerhard Schroeder said, you can't fuck with our numbers. And Vlad said, yeah, but we're all going to die. And that's what the scriptures say. Including the United States. So, bottom line is, Putin said back off with these sanctions and with what you're doing in Ukraine or else. And then Schroeder also said, You can't win a war with all of NATO. And Putin, I guess, responded and said, no, maybe not, but we can bring NATO down with us, meaning nuclear war, of course. Boom. Let the weak say, I am strong. You hear that? Let's get that again. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into... What does that mean? That means go make all the nuclear bombs that you can make. What was the last thing Johnny Storm said? That means nuclear war. Beat your plowshares into nukes and your pruning hook, your gardening tools into more nukes. Let the weak say, I am strong. We're watching prophecy jump off the page right now. Okay? Why? Here's what the Most High is doing. Isaiah 13:17. Behold, I, that's the Most High Yahweh, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, will stir up the Medes, the Russians. Let me stir them up. I will put the Medes in motion against them. Against who? Babylon. Against Babylon the Great. That's the real target. Who is the horse sitting on top of the beast? Okay? Stirring up the Medes. I arouse the Medes against you. Stirring them up. How? How is he stirring up the Medes? Okay? We should know by now. I go through these same precepts over and over. Why? Because this is the time that we're in. Proverbs 21:1. Write these down. The king's heart is a waterway into the hand of the Lord. He directs it. Let's get a good one here. Let's start with the King James. Salakia. King James. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Now let's break this down. The king, Vladimir Putin. Sleepy Joe Biden. Erdogan. Boris Johnson the clown. Well, he's out now. He went to his bunker. The king's heart. What is the king's heart? His muscle that pumps blood? No. This word heart is the Hebrew word lab, which means your mind. The king's mind is in the hand of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. He's controlling it. Let's prove that. Let's go down here. This is classic mind control. The Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, controls what? The mind. Where's the word heart at? Where's the word heart? Right here. Mind control supreme. M, K, if it was in German, supreme. MK supreme, not MK ultra. MK supreme. So what do we have? Let the weak say, I am strong. All right? It's inevitable. All right? World War III is going to end with nuclear bombs and UFOs. Okay? And our enemies dying. When I say our, the children of Israel, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. All right? And maybe tomorrow I'll go further into it. So with that, that's enough for today. I pray that the elect will edify you brothers and few sisters. With that, we're going to say Shabbat Shalom.